What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Wealth Not Wait channel. I am your host, as always, Joe Squeeza, and welcome to the first episode of season 2 of Making a Mogul. I know, yay, it was great. It's awesome. I'm wonderfully excited about it. I got a lot of updates, a lot of stuff to tell you guys, and giving a breakdown on the things that, one, I was kind of setting up before I stopped season 1, and now in between season 1 and now season 2, the beginning of the year and all that. So I have a list. Let's jump right into it. The first noticeable difference that you guys will see is, one, I have my phone with me. Ooh, I don't have to print things out and put them on a wall and do that. I got a 4K camera now, so hopefully the video quality is better. I have 4K editing software. I set this up, going to try and bring better value, better quality, better stuff to season 2, not just of Making a Mogul, but everything in general. But jumping right into it, it's going to be a breakdown of the dividends from 2022, and it's significantly higher than it was from when I started and what it is now. I'm going to get into it a little bit later, but I also want to state that these are kind of estimates a little bit. It gives me a breakdown of how much I make, and it gives me by month. The problem is, because Landa, I think, is so new, and they also changed the way it's set up, it's so very fucking buggy. It is ridiculously buggy. And I'll click on it, the dividends are out of order. It'll say, oh, you got this one for September, but it's with January. I'll click on it to see, and it'll throw me out of the app. I didn't know, and you'll see the fluctuations of them. The rents and the money I made are different. So I didn't know if I missed a payment on one. I didn't know if this didn't happen. If it's still $0, it still marks it. It doesn't mark it as a payment. So if it doesn't give me anything, it doesn't say, hey, you got $0. It just doesn't show up as a payment. So I had to go into it, which, by the way, I have it written down here, is, let's find out, the portfolio page, let's see. Property account, it's under the cash balance. So for something like U-Toy, I think it's like $3,500 right now. If you go into the cash balance and select the property account, that is the transactions of drywall, of the sales, of how much the investors are getting paid, how much they made in rent. That's a complete property transaction log for that particular property. I didn't know that. It's just property account, which I kind of, intuitively said that maybe that's what it is, but it doesn't expressly say that, and it doesn't also say $0 for a payment, which I think is kind of odd. It should say $0. Not that I'm thinking I missed a payment. I was ready to contact support and talk about that, but I'm going to read off the rents from. The rent is from the previous month. So like I already got paid on January 1st. That was the rent from December. And that's what I believe across all properties. That's what it seems like, because they recently got rent on the 3rd of January. I have not been paid for that yet. I got paid on the 1st. So if they only collected the rent on the 3rd, it would be hard for them to pay me 2 days early. So my understanding is the previous month, on January, you're getting December's rent payout. In February, I'd be getting this month's rent payout. That's how it sets up. So for August, I made 2 cents. Not a whole lot. First, I got it like the end of August. I got the 2 free shares, because one for joining and one for submitting a friend. Now moving on to September, I got 9 cents. And I believe one, if I'm not mistaken, that's one of the ones I was confused about. I think it was U-Toy, because I bought U-Toy in August, and that one gave me nothing, because I got, I think, at the end of August again, so I didn't earn anything. But that one showed up as September, but with nothing. So I was confused as to, one, we're going to get into in a minute, when I didn't get paid out, why it didn't say, hey, you got paid out, but you didn't get anything. So I think they got to work on that system a little bit, unless there's something I'm misunderstanding. The system is a little confusing. And again, when I click on it, it kind of just threw me out of the app. So it's still working on the kinks, still working on the bugs, but so far it's getting better. October was 29 cents. November was 12 cents. I didn't receive money because it cost money for property. The big one I had, U-Toy, they had to do the drywall or something like that, so it didn't have anything to pay out to investors, which, okay, yeah, it's awesome, good that happened. I would have liked to have known that, as in, on the statement where I'm getting it, say, hey, here's November's rent, you got nothing, not November, it just didn't pay out anything. That's just like a personal thing, because then I had to click on it and figure out, like, did I missed a payment? Because I'm seeing here that I'm not getting paid for September. Is that the situation I'm working with? So I just wish there was a straightforward thing to say, hey, here's everything, and you didn't get paid for this. And I could click on it, it would tell me. But when I click on things, it throws me out. So working on this system, I know it's still early. It's still figuring out, especially with this new update, which I'll get into in a second. They're still figuring out a lot. So November, only 12 cents. December, 53 cents. And finally, January, I made 63 cents. So in total, let's find out. In total so far, I've made $1.68 in rent payments, which obviously is not a whole lot for rent, but also this was starting and me building into it and getting the things that I have now. I also want to give a huge shout out to everybody who used my code. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. I got, I think 3 free share now. I want to say I'm up to 3. Because again, it's hard to keep track. Like it says, oh, free share went through, but this one wasn't, and this one's from when you first did it. So I'm trying to keep track. But whoever used my code and got a free share themselves and gave me a free share, thank you so very much. I really do truly appreciate it. Again, it's not about the money and the setup for it. If you have any interest, use my code. I would highly appreciate it. But if you don't, and you just want to log in and don't use a code, use a friend's code or something, and you have an interest in it, I urge you to do so with or without my code. I just want to see people who have an interest and build their finances better to do so, regardless if it makes me anything or not. I just wanted to say that, and then to also say thank you to all who did use my code. I really genuinely appreciate it. So moving on along, they also had, let's see here. There hasn't been a whole lot of new updates as far as the properties. In fact, they got rid of some of the updates. Before it would say Jacksonville and Tampa and all this coming soon, they now updated the property page. It no longer has anywhere that I can find, at least if somebody can and could show me, I can no longer find where it says these properties are coming soon. So I don't know if they just don't advertise that now. Maybe it's on their website they advertise it, or if those properties aren't coming anymore. Which somebody who lives in the Tampa Bay area and understands that Jacksonville was a huge bonus, that, I forgot what the other one was, Tampa, Jacksonville, and something else. I was looking forward to pretty much all of them, but especially Jacksonville and Tampa. Wanted to see what kind of properties they had. So I know it's a tough thing, especially with the real estate market right now. Maybe they couldn't get a hold of those properties. Maybe funding was a little iffy. Maybe some of the stuff fell through. I don't know the situation. I'm not privy to it. But I was looking forward to it, and now the possibility that it may not come is, you know, it sucks. But I'm still happy with the app. I'm still happy with everything. I just want to let everybody know that that may be a case, is that these properties that were coming may not be coming anymore. I don't know. So, but that's something I'm going to keep an eye out. And if it does come, likely going to invest in it, again, if the financials are good. But I'm very excited if that is still something that they're on track for. I've also had really great discussions with a lot of people, some of which who said they have money and they've been looking to invest in real estate and they recently found this, and this was their introduction to Landa, was me talking about it. So I really greatly appreciate you guys using me as that source and trusting me and valuing me enough. Again, I'm no expert in it. I'm an enthusiast. I'm trying to learn. This is making of a mogul, not a mogul yet. So I'm trying to learn and get better, but I appreciate you guys taking this journey with me and going on this journey yourself. So I had a lot of discussions about people about best ways to invest, why I like UTOY so much, why I like a whole bunch of stuff like that. So I'm going to answer some of those questions here, maybe put some comments on the screen if I can find some good ones. Essentially is, if you invest in the way that I do, I'm very much a stock person. That's how I think, that's how I set up as far as my finances, that's how I do all that. And I compare a lot of things the same way I would compare stocks, learning from the intelligent investor. So a lot of those are value stocks over time. Things like, say, you know, an S&P 500 may or may not pay out a dividend. So I would like to live off my expenses, live off the interest and the dividends that I receive one point. As Mr. Wonderful says, you want to live off the interest, not the principal. So I don't want to have to sell the stock. If, say, the stock's worth $1,000 of, you know, a company XYZ or whatever that I purchased into, I don't want to have to sell the whole stock to then live off of it. I want to make a little bit of money, and if I have to sell the stock, I have to. But I want to have the money and the dividend and the interest and the income coming in. So that's what I use this for. Obviously, appreciation, which we're going to get into in a second, about the real estate is great and awesome and arguably the more money. But dividend like this is great and what I'm looking for. Interest payments, dividend, rent payments, things like that. That's a consistent payment. With the exception of needing to do stuff here or there, especially in real estate, that's a great way to do it. This is an easy, simple way to invest in it, and that's the way I use it. Maybe, and again, I have friends who are doing this, they're using it as far as the appreciation on the properties, and they're selling the shares. That may be an opportunity if you want to do something like that, or that may work better with your finances, but this is the way it works better for me, and that's also the reason why I like UTOY so much, is at the time, I think, it may still be the highest paying property as far as the initial buy-in price to what you're getting. If I average this out of now the current rent of 63 cents, as it's grown, I got these free shares, I bought more shares, compared to the relatively small amount, at least to most investments, or maybe most of you would be investing in, it's like $100, around $100 I invested into this platform, And by using the 63 cents as a monthly average for 12 months, I'm earning like 7 something. So it's close to 8%, not including some of the shares I got in December and now January. It's close to 8%. So if I make 8% back on my money annually as far as an interest payment, I'm pretty happy with that. And again, I have other things, not like the appreciation, but other things like stocks that are appreciation and growing, that I would focus more on that. And this is more the interest payment. This is more like an alternative investment for me. Another thing is the appreciation of my shares. UTOY is the one I picked, the beginning of what I had picked in setting it up. It has appreciated about 52%, I think. I think it's the second highest compared to one that I got for free, which appreciated 56%. So UTOY, the initial investment I make and the one that I invested most of my money in, has been the best investment I have made for it so far. It pays the most, it's appreciated the most, it's been the best one, and for the continual future, I hope it does, or something else that I recently invested in. So my current appreciation value is actually 64.72%. So a good amount of the money, I think it's about $50 up or something along those lines, mixed with the, on average, about $7 something a year. This is pretty good so far. And again, I highly advise people, this isn't, financial advice set up for it, but I highly advise people, this is just good advice, to do their own due diligence on things, to look into it. This may be a good investment for me, but it may not be a good investment for you. You may be more knowledgeable, it may be a better investment for you. I urge people who have an interest in it to check it out. Drop, it may shrink, but the amount of money that I'm putting it in and what I'm using it for, and willing to go on this journey. If it all went to zero tomorrow, yeah, it sucks, I lost $100, a couple $100, but I learned from it, I learned the process, and I'm okay with that. This isn't my life savings. I'm not saying you should put your life savings into this at all. In fact, it's still new, and with things like the recent stuff with FTX, with recent stuff like seeing a buggy platform, possible recession, maybe we're in a recession, maybe we're not, whatever the fuck people are saying, I wouldn't advise someone to just throw caution to the wind and put money into something they don't understand, or just think, oh, it's doing really good right now, let me jump onto it. Do your own research, do your own due diligence, and figure it out. But right now, I got in a good time, I'm happy with it, I'm putting in the money that I want to put in for it, and getting the returns that I'm happy with, and so far it's working out pretty good for me, personally. So another point of it, again, like I said, it went up about 64.72% and making somewhere around 63, and making somewhere around $7.56 a year on average, not including the new stuff or with issues. If the stock or if the shares continue to price as they are, that's a section of it. Another thing that I also found really interesting is they made it easier to change my bank information. I recently changed some bank accounts and some different stuff, just some basic work that I'm, setting up this, getting rid of this fee's too high, I like that, just doing my yearly maintenance kind of stuff and really setting up my accounts, and they made it easier to change that account information. I was able to go in and change it, where before I was trying to do it and it was a little bit difficult. So now they made that significantly easier. It wasn't received in an email. I didn't know that right away until I dug around a little bit more. I check once a month kind of thing, and now I found it's easier to do, which is really great. I'm happy to have that. However, they did not send me an email when I did it, which I find not bad, but a little concerning. If my account information was changed, I would like most places, like they do, to send an email saying, hey, your account has been changed. This account is now disassociated with your Landa profile, whatever the case may be. Not that I go in, somebody, say a bad actor changes my account, and I don't know about it until a week later when I check my stuff. That would be nice to know ahead of time, and I really hope they jump on that for security reasons and send that email saying, hey, your account has been changed, your bank account has been changed, there's been a deposit, there's been a withdrawal, something along those lines. I don't know if they do it for deposits and withdrawals, but as far as the changing bank account information or any serious account information, I would like them to send an email for security purposes, but that's a note for me that I think would be really helpful. The portfolio page and the search filters also now been added. Ability to filter, so you can say, I want urban properties. I want something that's vacant. I want something that's been paid or that there's current residents at. You can filter it. It's very easy, select type of filters, nothing super advanced or super crazy. I think there's like 10 to 15 different types of settings you could select for it. But it's just good to say, hey, of the like 52 properties that they have now, 51, 52, somewhere along those lines is the 49 and then 3, I believe. So yeah, you're at 52. So 52 properties with potentially more coming. It's great to say, hey, I want to set it up and select only urban properties, only properties that are rented. I don't want vacant properties, and kind of have that search filter. Another thing is, again, like I talked about, the portfolio page is now streamlined, easier to look at all your shares. Say I have X amount of shares at that. At the bottom, it has this share for this property, this share, 6 shares for this property. And then it also gives you a dividend breakdown, which I really appreciate, although it is not super functional at the moment. It said I didn't make any money in September, even though I made a little bit of money. It was like 9 cents or something along the lines. However, it gives me August, which I made even less. I believe it was, what, 2 cents? Something along there? Yeah, 2 cents in August, 9 cents in September, but it told me I didn't make any money in September. So as far as dividend payments, so I'm a little confused about that. The account setting, though, where I just pulled all that information from, and it shows my appreciation, that's really great with the chart. Really appreciate it, I guess, especially being somebody who's interested in stocks. Having good data and breakdown and show me each property, its appreciation, how much it's making, and how I'm doing overall is really great. Also, the map is good. Not a whole lot, obviously, right now. It's just the 49 in the Georgia area and the 3 in New York. It's really easy, really simple. But if they add places like Tampa, Jacksonville, having those little dots on it and saying, hey, I want to invest in Tampa, I want to invest in Jacksonville, or I know this area specifically is doing good. And it gives you better information. Like I think school zones and different types of stuff to filter by. It's really good so far, and they're making improvements. Again, there's still bugs to work out, still little issues that I would like to see fixed, but overall they're making great progress, and I'm happy to see that they're still trying to improve and get better. That's going to be it for the first episode. Just a quick update. Moving forward, I think what I'm going to do is break down, because there's, again, like 52 properties. I'm going to break down potentially each property. That's what I'm thinking about doing with the series. Go through, do XYZ property, this property, break down, talk about the finances. And then again, of course, what I'm doing, learning from different moguls, different stuff, but really get into the nitty gritty and show what I'm learning from each property, my personal opinion on it, and the data that I use to measure it and measure it out, and then see what everybody's opinions are and really start a discussion and get into this and show people, hey, here's a good option. Here's something maybe you should look out for, and just give my opinion and the metrics I use. They'll maybe expand and have somebody say, oh, hey, I didn't think of it that way. Or maybe you guys will put in the comments, well, what about this? And I'll go, oh, fuck, I didn't think of it that way. And improve us overall and continue with this journey. But that's been the update. That's been great. Again, they're kicking ass. They're doing stuff. They have a long way to go and a lot of stuff to work out. But I'm very happy using Landa so far. And as far as the finances, as far as the stuff they're doing, especially their help desk, I had an issue with one of my shares, which again, like I said, it's kind of buggy. I emailed them, and within like a day, they fixed the issue. They did it pretty quick, and they're always super nice. They're super great. So far, I'm enjoying Landa. Again, approach with your own caution and understand it's still new and they don't have all their stuff figured out yet, but to see that grow and get better, I'm pretty happy with it. So if you guys like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below, have you used Landa yet? What is your experience? And does this kind of entice you to maybe look at it or some other real estate app type things? As always, I'm Joseph Cuiza, and I'm here to help.